hope you guys come back. I'm so sorry. Let me know if this is better, because if this is better, we'll just do it from my phone. I feel like it's better. I feel like it looks better, but I can't tell because, you know, it's my phone. What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up, everybody? Oh, hey, it's better. It's better. That's what I'm talking about. Okay. All right. Cool deal. Well, this sucks because I wanted y'all to be able to come up. Skylar, hey, girl, what are you doing? I need to text you and find out if you ever follow through with your, your appointment. I'm drinking water. Nothing good. Nothing good. You know me. Sober. I'm sober as a judge over here, y'all. So, okay, since we're on my phone, I can't have guests, okay? So it's just going to be me on here. I hope that's okay with you guys. As I was saying, with your Italian Mexican background, I can only imagine the food you make. My mom is the best cook, you guys. Hey, Sarah. Pure orange juice with ice. Yes, girl. Text me later and let me know, okay? Because I've been praying and thinking about you. So, okay, since it's just going to be me tonight, you guys, what do y'all want me to talk about? Do you guys want me to share about my life and how I got into my addiction? Do you guys want me to share about, just ask me anything. I want this stream to be what you guys want to hear. I don't have any makeup on. Look, that's just how beautiful I am. Oh, okay. So here in Arkansas, you guys, it's always crazy storms. It's like, tornadoes always come through here. So I'll tell you a quick story about the time that I was in a tornado in prison. And then I'll kind of tell you guys how I got into my addiction, okay? So story time. Okay, so I guess I need to first of all, tell y'all why I went to prison, because I don't know if all y'all know. So I went to prison because I went to prison behind a Class C felony possession of a controlled substance, okay? Methamphetamine. And a lot of people think that my drug of choice was heroin, but if I had to choose between heroin and methamphetamine, it would have been methamphetamine. I loved stimulants when I was addicted to drugs, and I always wanted to be up and away. And so I was oxys and heroin came towards the end of my addiction. Towards the last 5 to 6 years of my addiction is when I got strung out real bad on opiates. But the beginning of my addiction, like the majority of my addiction, was to cocaine and methamphetamine. I'd like to hear about relapsing after significant time under your belt and where to turn when everyone thinks you've been doing good. Okay, well, the only time I've ever relapsed after a significant amount of time was when I had about 9 months sober. And honestly, when I relapsed, you guys, I didn't turn to anybody, and I was really ashamed because I relapsed. So, but the thing about it is, a lot of the times when we have a lot of time underneath our belt and we've been sober for a couple of years, it's not because anybody is going to shame us. That's our addiction telling us that we need to be ashamed and that we can't reach out for help. That is your mind. Like, okay, so people, I don't think, realize when they say stuff like, oh my God, you relapsed, are you okay? Or what happened? Oh, like I say that stuff and I don't even think, right? I don't even think about what I'm saying because I just worry, and I'm like, what happened? Are you okay? Oh my God, you relapsed, but it really happens to so many people. And it's, from now on, like I try not to react and say, oh my God, you relapsed. Are you okay? Like, okay, you relapsed and let's get back on track. There's nothing to be ashamed of. And I think that It's a lot of us have been programmed to think that we need to be ashamed because we fell off, right? But nobody's perfect. And at the beginning of your recovery, if you don't have a solid, I mean, it can happen to anybody. I could go out and get high tomorrow and relapse, you guys. Anybody could do it. And the thing about recovery is that we don't know what's going on in each other's heads. You know what I mean? And so I can be coming here on my channel and saying, I'm doing great, you guys. My sobriety is rock solid, right? And I could go out tomorrow and get high. It's like I can show you what I want you to see, right? That's why it's so tricky here on YouTube. It's like you got to really, really make sure that you are working and staying on the right track. It's like I can't sit here and expect my YouTube channel to keep me sober. In fact, there was a time where all I was doing was my YouTube channel, and it was like I was relying on you guys so much for my support in my recovery, and it wasn't enough, and I was miserable and I was crying. I mean, it happens to me all the time. I'll hit these blocks, right? Like I just hit one a couple days ago, and it's like I'll get so uncomfortable and I'll realize that I need to make a change, because the reason why I'm uncomfortable is because I'm not living up to my full potential, and that's what will happen. I'll be stagnant and I'll feel uncomfortable because I'm not doing the best I know I can do. Because here's the thing, you guys, I am a motherfucking beast. I can do things to the best. I can be the best at everything. Anything I put my mind to, I will be the best at it. You know what I mean? And so when I'm not living up to that full potential, it eats away at my soul. It drives me insane. Like I feel not complete. You know what I mean? Esther, I love you. Nicole for Senate. President Nicole. But do y'all know what I'm saying? Do y'all know what I'm saying? Like, I know that I'm capable of doing great things, and when I'm not doing those great things, it weighs on me, and I feel it, and I'm like, damn, I got to do better. And I know you guys are the same way. If you're like me, if you're an addict, and you're anything like me, you feel it in your heart when you're not doing the right thing and when you're not doing enough, Now, don't get me wrong. I'm hard on myself. I'm real critical of myself, but I'm talking like, okay, I'm 38 years old. I know that I can get in shape and I can be the best version of myself. And the fact that I have not been the best version of myself for the last 3 years, my weight has been real out of control. That's really just been eating at me and eating at me and eating at me. And so first I started working out with Nick and started changing my diet, right? And that's helping a lot. Then I'm taking the next step, and I signed up and I got a personal trainer at a fitness gym, which, just so you guys know, I'm scared shitless to go on Tuesday. I'm so afraid. I just know I'm going to die. And I asked the guy, I said, are there any fat girls that go to this gym? I need to see some fat women in here. You know what I mean? Because I'm so nervous. But I know that all I have to, this is what I was thinking. And this is what the guy said. And this is what also I know this is true. He said, you've already done the hardest part. You walked in here and you paid for the membership. You paid for it, because that's one thing that I would never let myself do with a gym membership, was I would never go all the way and pay for it, because, well, if I paid for it, then I was going to have to do it, And so I did it. I paid for it, and so now I got to do it. And so, damn, I'm scared. But anyways, I don't know how the fuck I got on that whole tangent right there. But when you're relapsing, you guys, and you feel like that guilt and shame to come back, and you think that you can't come back, I'm telling you guys, it's just your addiction trying to keep you away from your recovery, because there's nothing to be ashamed of. Nothing at all. There's so many times I've relapsed and I've felt the same shame. Just so you guys know, I felt the same shame. I felt like I couldn't go back, and I didn't go back. And I didn't go back, and I stayed out for years, and I lost so much because of that. And now I'm glad that I'm able to come on here on my channel and let you guys know that it doesn't matter how many times that you fall, okay? As long as you get back up, do not stay out there in your addiction. It's not worth it. You know what I mean? It's not worth it. So, okay, let me go through some of y'all's comments because they're going by really fast. Okay, hold on. It's consistency, yes. Sarah says, I'm skinny and I'm intimidated by gyms. Girl, you're telling me something. I was so scared walking in there. Hey, Kathy, love you. Okay, yes, tell Justin to call me so I can have him on the channel. Yes. My parents spent all their time telling me how great I was, and then I went out in the world and it told me I wasn't. I know, Nancy, same. Barb, enjoy your retirement, sweetheart. That's awesome. Okay, let me get down here to the chronic depression. I know how that feels. You know, Bobby, I struggle with depression too, you guys, and I don't know how to explain it any other way that it goes like this. I'll go up and down, up and down. And so lately here, I've been in just a real bad funk. I've been crying all week, and people that are close to me know because I've been calling them and crying. I've been calling Nick and crying. I've been telling the people in Patreon that I'm depressed. I've just been crying all week. Been calling my husband at work crying, and I called him probably 3 or 4 times each day of this past week. And I'm like, okay, this is what I need to do to make myself happy. And then I'll call him back up an hour later. I changed my mind. This is what I need to do. And he's like, Nichole, whatever you need to do, I'm here to support you. At one time, I thought that paying for a $1,000 tattoo was going to make me happy. But then I decided that was not a good idea. And I said, you know what? I don't need the $1,000 tattoo. I'm going to take that money and I'm going to get in shape, and I'm going to put it towards a gym membership. And so that's what I decided to do instead. But you guys, it's like up and down. Like my mind, I just want you guys to know that I don't have it all figured out. I'm not perfect at all. And I'm not like the end all be all to sobriety or anything like that. Like, I'm still trying to just learn every single day. I'm trying to do better every day. I'm trying to do the next right thing every day. I'm trying to help people every day. And I'm telling you, the thing that saves my life the most is getting to talk to you guys. Like today, I got to talk to Joe. I talked to Joe because he came on last night and did the interview. And I was so proud of him. So I called him today to tell him how proud of him I was. And I got to talk to him for a little bit. I got to talk to all my guys today. I got to talk to Joe, Murk, and Karlea, and those are my guys that are in Patreon. So I called to check on all 3 of the boys today, and I was so happy to hear all of them doing good. You know, it's just like, that's what helps me stay sober, when I get to talk to my people, and you guys help me just stay on the right track. You know what I mean? It gives me so much encouragement just hearing that I'm able to help you guys. So anyways, it's not that I'm not going to get it, Sarah. I'm just going to wait I'm going to wait a little bit. I still want to get a tattoo. Don't get me wrong, but I'm going to wait, and do this gym thing first, you know, because what if I get a tattoo and my arm's like all fat, and then I lose like a bunch of weight in my arms, and you know. So, okay, what do you guys want to talk about? I'm sorry, I'm trying to focus on your comments so that way I'll answer questions. Oh, the prison story. Thank you, Endless Possibilities. What's your first name, girl? I've got you. Thank you so much for helping me stay on track. Prison story. Okay, so, I went to prison for a Class C felony. For those of you guys that are new to my channel, I know there's a lot of you guys that came over from After Prison Show. Tiffany, okay, thank you. I'll remember that. I went to prison back in 2009 for possession of a controlled substance, methamphetamine. And the way it happened was I was riding in my car, and this guy was driving it. His name was Quincy, but we called him Pacemaker Quincy because he had a pacemaker. He is a black guy, and he shot meth, and we shot meth together. I mean, we were just shot out. And he was driving my car, and he had meth on him. I had meth on me. And then we had a whole bunch of paraphernalia and all kinds of stuff in my car. And we ended up getting set up by confidential informants, which were, I've told y'all stories about them before, but there was these two girls that we hung out with. They were twins, and they were called the Teri Twins. And these girls, man, let me just tell y'all something. These girls were nothing nice they would rob you blind. You could be standing there with your eyes open and they could rob you and you wouldn't even know it. That's how these girls were so crazy. So they called and reported us and set us up. And so we ended up getting the crazy twins. Yes, we ended up getting caught. We got surrounded. My car got surrounded by D-Tech cars and marked cars and unmarked cars. And they ended up throwing us in jail. Of course, the dope boy, the guy that I was with, he got us bailed out because some guy came and, like, some guy literally put his Harley up so we could get out of jail, because the guy that I was with was a dope. He was a cook. So, you know, they didn't want us to be in jail. Well, they didn't want him to be in jail. I just got lucky and he got me out with him. I'm surprised he did, because I didn't really know that dude that much, but he was at least a straight enough dude to get me out and not leave me in there. And so I got put on probation for 3 years, you guys, and I could not pass a drug screen. I don't know about you guys, but that was my first time to ever try to get sober, was when I got put on probation. They put me on probation, and I came in and I took my first drug test, and the first drug test I was able to pass. And then after that, I could not stay sober. And it wasn't because I couldn't stay sober. It's because I didn't want to stay sober. I didn't care. Like, the only reason why I wanted to stay sober is so I wouldn't go to prison, so I wouldn't get in trouble. But it wasn't like because I wanted to change, you know what I mean? And so I didn't stay sober, and I kept relapsing, and they violated me, and I went to prison. So when I got to prison, first of all, I got to tell this on a story time. I don't even know if I want to tell it on this video. Anyways, I'll tell it on the video. There was a pandemic that broke out in this prison, you guys. I am not even lying to you. You know, a prison is like a small city, okay? And it's compound. It's like we're all together in a small little, in a couple acres of land, right? And so the way this prison was set up is they had like this one building where they did like, they would like do your paperwork and process you in, and then they would do your paperwork and process you out when it was time for you to leave. So in that area, there was this thing called the hole, and that's where they would hold you at to make sure you didn't have infectious diseases. If you got in trouble, you would go there. It was like just solitary confinement, but not like it was in a big prison like in California or something. It was just like a couple of cells where they could keep 2 girls at a time, and that you wouldn't be able to come out. You just stayed there. You know, it was called the hole. And so when I got there, they processed me in and they deloused me. And then, you know, I went into my what's it called? God, I can't even remember what everything was called. It's like not a compound, but it was like my unit. Okay. So I went into my unit, and about 4 months into my stay there at prison, there was a huge outbreak of this virus, okay? Kind of like the coronavirus. Only this was the kind of virus that makes you have loose bowels, it makes you throw up, and everybody had it. Everybody was sick with this fever and this virus where we were all shitting everywhere. And so it was so bad that they had to quarantine us off to one unit, take all the people out of that unit, and put all the sick people in this one unit. It was crazy. Like we were on a fucking desert island with this damn deadly flu. You know what I mean? And you know, when you're in prison, they're not coming and checking your temperature and wiping you down and making sure you're okay. Like it was horrible, you guys. It was horrible. And the way we had to do it was we had these little mattresses that they put on the ground. They're like this thick. And we all just laid in them in a row. Sicker than shit. Well, after that whole little pandemic thingy passed over, it was tornado season, okay? Tornado season, and I was in Pine Bluff, Arkansas. And it was a bad year that year. I mean, we had so many storms coming through. And this one tornado came through, and it was hitting hard. This was the first tornado that I ever had to go into a tornado shelter in the prison, okay? Oh, Misty, it was disgusting. And then you had girls that didn't want to wash their asses. You had girls that were just nasty. You know, let me tell y'all something about women. They were either clean girls that took care of themselves, or they didn't do nothing. And they wouldn't, I'm talking girls that would roll up toilet paper and fucking clog the toilet up, and just disgusting, nasty ass shit. Ugh. I'm so glad that I'm not in prison. I will never go back to prison again. Do y'all understand me? Ever again. Because in prison and in jail is when I realized how nasty girls were, you know? So anyway, that tornado came through the prison, and we had to go into this tornado shelter. Okay, there's 300 girls in the prison. And so they had us lined up. You know, there's guards guarding us, of course, but we had to get down like this, all against the walls of the gym, basically. It was horrible, you guys. It was horrible. Okay, Bobby says it can. I mean, from perfect, had a few beers here and there. 11 months, no heroin. That's so awesome, Bobby. I'm so proud of you. So, okay, that's my little story about prison, you guys. I've got so many prison story times. If you're new to my channel, this is what I suggest you do. Go to my channel and click playlists. Drag down to my playlists and look. There's a prison set of playlists. There's a playlist for my whole story, which is 4 parts. It's literally a 4-hour series, okay, of me telling my whole story. But basically, the way I got started on drugs was, when I was a young girl, I always was very insecure, you guys. Like, it's kind of crazy because I'm still insecure, but I feel like I've gotten, I feel like I've gotten a lot better than I used to be. But when I was a kid, I was real insecure, and I was very, just like, I was very different, right? The school I went to was a smaller school in Hot Springs, Arkansas. And hey, Onyx, look at my dog. Hey, Bubba's. Come here, baby. So, you want to say hi to everybody? Why are you on my bed? Okay. I went to a smaller school. It's not small now, but back then it was a tiny, tiny school. And I was always really, really, really insecure. There we go. Okay. I was insecure about my weight. I was insecure about everything. And Arkansas. So when I was growing up, I met a bunch of people that I could relate to, like that were in my high school. So I started hanging out with those people. And I also started hanging out with a bunch of people that were older than me. Okay, Karlea, I see you, girl. Thanks for being here. I started hanging out with a bunch of people that were older than me, like older guys. And once I started hanging out with those guys that were older than me, that's when I first started drinking and smoking pot. And, you know, now I look back on it, and like, pot didn't make me want to go out and get high, but what it did was it gave me the access to other people that were doing other drugs, okay? So like, I was hanging out with people that were smoking pot, and they were also snorting cocaine. And so that's when I first started doing cocaine, was when I was in high school. Before I ever even tried cocaine, listen to this. The first ever stimulant I ever did was prescribed by the doctor. I had gained a lot of weight, like my 8th or 9th grade year. I can't remember which year. And I went to the doctor because I was very, very insecure, like I said, about my weight. And the doctor prescribed me phentermine, which is Adipex. And I remember when I got those Adipex, you guys, that was the best thing ever. I thought, this is where it's at. I've needed these all my life. Adipex, I need these. If I could have Adipex for the rest of my life, I'd never be fat, y'all. I never would have even gained weight. But can't have Adipex for the rest of your life. Oh, that sounds good, girl. You know what I had for dinner this evening? I had shrimp ceviche tacos. So for those of you guys that don't know, that's shrimp, tomatoes, onions, cilantro, lime juice, cucumbers, avocados. Ooh, it's so good. I love cilantro is my favorite thing to put on everything. I love it. I think it tastes so good. Cilantro and lime. And I love, love, love shrimp ceviche. It's probably one of my favorite things to eat. Like if I could eat, yeah, I would eat that all the time because it's not too fattening. It's fresh and it's so freaking good. Look how long my hair is getting, you guys. Do you remember when I got it cut and it was up to here? Look how long it's getting. Beep, 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 beep. Okay. You're such a weirdo. I'm sorry. I'm a weird person. Okay. Any questions? Give me some questions. I want to answer some questions. Come on, y'all. Talk to me. I'm gaining weight on this freaking Lexapro. Girl, I know. Same. I did too, girl. I'm down. How many milligrams are you on? I'm on 0.5, and I still... That could be why I gained weight also. I'm not going to even act like it. I got sober, and I gained weight because I started eating. I love these lives when you just hang out and talk with us and tell us stories. Karlea, I do too, girl. This is how I built my channel, was just telling stories and talking. I love weird people. Me too. I'm telling you guys, if you guys go back to my first videos when I first started this channel, that's all I did was sit here and tell stories. Okay. However, I probably... Nichole, are you Jewish? Actually, thanks for asking, Esther. Yeah, I have Jew in, yeah. My grandma DeMayo that passed away, Elaine, she's half Jewish. Good morning, Aubrey. Thanks for being here. How long did it take you to sleep normally? After I got off of my the drugs that I was on, I'm gonna straight up be with you. So I went into detox, okay? And when I went into detox, I had benzos and opiates and methamphetamine. No, benzos and opiates in my system, but I had just come off of like a major meth binge. I had been up for like a week. And when I came off that meth binge, I got drug tested 3 days later by CPS. And so that's why I didn't have meth in my system. But when I went into detox, I had opiates and benzos. So I detoxed off of opiates and benzos successfully in detox, and then I went into rehab. When I got into that rehab center, you guys, I started hustling my husband and making him bring me Xanax, right? So my husband was sneaking Xanaxes into me while I was in treatment, okay? So I'm in the rehab. Neil's sneaking me Xanaxes in there, and I tell him, drop them off at the front underneath the rock. And so he drives up there to drop them off underneath the rock for me. And guess what? We pulled up right behind him. And so now we saw him. Everybody saw my husband dropping the Xanaxes off at the rehab to me. And so I was busted red-handed. So they went over there, they looked underneath the rock, and lo and behold, there's the Xanax, and there's my husband driving off. So they just literally busted him, okay? And so I'm sweating, y'all. I'm sweating bullets in the back of the fucking van, right? Because we had just left a meeting. We went out to a meeting. I called Neil from my friend's phone at the meeting and said, drop the Xanaxes off now. And so we come back from the meeting and we ran into him right there, same exact time. Isn't that some shit? So, and I truly believe that the reason why he got caught, that happened, is because God was just trying to save me, you guys. Because if I had gotten by with keeping on getting those Xanaxes, I would have got out of treatment and not learned a damn thing. I wouldn't have had any consequences. I would have stayed getting high, and I would have lost my son forever. Okay? And so I got busted, and my husband got busted, and that's when the treatment center said, you know what? y'all can't see each other anymore. We're not going to allow Neil to come visit you. And I mean, I lost it, you guys. I was like, what do you mean he can't see me? That's the father of my child, right? And we weren't married yet. And so I was really, really upset. So the next 2 weeks in treatment, they would not let me see him. And I couldn't write him letters, nothing, okay? Well, that was 2 weeks for me to sober up from all those Xanaxes. So now I've got 30 days sober from all drugs and then 2 weeks sober from Xanax, right? And I come out of treatment and my husband picked me up, and I remember him picking me up, and I was so happy to see him. You guys, I hugged him and I told him how much I loved him, and I was so sorry. I was so sorry for getting him caught up, you know what I mean? And of course he was like, it's okay, I understand. I did 1 year. I did a year and 3 months. You know, I apologized, and he apologized, and we understood we were sick in our addiction. Okay. We were just doing what addicts do. And if there was a will, there was a way, and we was going to do it. So when he picked me up, I remember sitting in the truck with him, and all I could think about, you guys, was how I wanted to go and get high. All I could think about was how bad I wanted to go get a Roxy and shoot it up. I had 30 days sober from opiates, and I wanted to go get high. I had gotten a sponsor. I called her right away. I went to a meeting. I started working the first step with my sponsor, and like 3 days went by. I was out of treatment for 3 days, and I was still just really struggling. Like, I wanted to get high. My husband was on Suboxone, and he told me, you know, I'm on Suboxone. And just so you guys know, me and my husband were in active addiction together. So we were already very codependent on each other. Our addictions were intertwined. And so when he told me he was on Suboxone, right then I was like, give me one of your Suboxone. I want one of your Suboxones. I knew that when I had been on dope and been on oxys and I needed Suboxone and I would take it, it would make me not sick. So I knew if I could get that Suboxone from my husband, that one, it would make me not have any cravings, and two, it would make me feel better because I had no opiates in my system. So I knew that I was opiate naive, and if I took that Suboxone, I was going to be on cloud 9. And so we went back and forth fighting with each other about it, and finally I was just like, give me a Suboxone or I'm going to go out and get high. And so my husband gave me half of one of his 8 milligram Suboxones. I took it, and right then I was like, I feel great. This is what I need to do. I don't want to get high now. I don't have any cravings. And so that's when my husband said, why don't you get on Suboxone? Because Nichole, if I'm going to keep giving you mine, we're going to go to jail. I'm going to get in trouble. We're going to lose our son. Because my husband had went and got legally prescribed Suboxone while I was in treatment. And so I had never tried to be on Suboxone and do anything other than the 12 steps. Okay, you guys, I had tried to go to, I had went to treatment 5 times, and I had been in and out of AA for 10 years. Okay, I've had sponsors. I've worked the 12 steps many times all the way through, right? Oh yeah, I've shot heroin, but I never switched to heroin because I had a connect for oxy. And so I would rather have oxy than heroin, but I shot heroin many times. But my drug of choice, opiate wise, was oxy and Dilaudid. But I always got those little blue 30 milligram Roxys. And so, and you guys also have to understand that, oops, sorry about that. Here in Little Rock, come on, plug in. Here in Little Rock, heroin wasn't really available like it was in bigger cities, okay? So oxy was where it was at. That was really all I could get my hands on. But I'll tell y'all a story. I've tried heroin a lot of times, and the times that I shot heroin, woo, mercy. I probably would have been dead if I was shooting heroin, because I knocked myself on my ass doing that. You know what I mean? But okay, let me get back to the story about the Suboxone. So I took half of one of Neil's Suboxones, and I felt amazing. It helped me. I felt better. I wasn't tripping on wanting to get high. I wasn't having cravings. I wasn't feeling depressed. Like, it really, really, really helped me a lot, right? And that's when my husband, he was like, why don't you get on Suboxone? And I was really, really against it. And the reason why I was against it is because I didn't know any other way, okay? When you're only taught one way to get sober, which listen, I am not knocking people who are able to get sober through abstinence. If I could have gotten sober through abstinence, I would be here talking to you guys about abstinence. But that was not how I got sober. So I have to be honest with you. I was unsuccessful at getting sober through abstinence 12-step based treatment. I tried many, many, many times. I gave it my all. I really wanted to be sober. Like, I've tried, believe me, promise to God. Now, there's times where I didn't try, but I've tried many times, right? And so he said, why don't you get on Suboxone and get a legal prescription, and let's try and do this, you know? And so we went to the doctor and we talked to him about it, and he said, you know, you would be the perfect candidate for Suboxone treatment, Nichole. You're a chronic relapser. You're an opiate addict. You're a poly addict. Okay, you're addicted to multiple substances, not just opiates. So yeah, this would be a great treatment for you. Okay, but the thing about it was, you guys, I was so ashamed to need the help. I was so ashamed, and so that's why I didn't want to do it, because everybody had told me that getting on Suboxone was just trading addictions. Everybody had told me that if I had gotten on Suboxone, that I wouldn't be sober and that I would just be addicted to another substance, right? But I didn't understand the disease of addiction. I didn't understand that there was a difference between being addicted and being dependent on a medication. I didn't understand that with addiction, it's really about the behaviors, right? The things that we do when we're in our active addiction. Like today, the person I am today is not the person I was when I was in active addiction. Okay, when I was in active addiction, if you came to this house and you put your purse downstairs on the couch, you better watch out, because I'm taking everything out of it. If you come to my house today and you put your purse downstairs on my couch, I'm not touching it. You know, back in my active addiction, if you had a man and he looked good, you better not turn your back, honey, because I was going to take him. Now in my addiction, if you got a man and he tries to hook up with me, I'm calling you and telling you about it. I am a trustworthy person now. I'm a person who is a good, you know, I have morals and I have values. And I always had morals and values, but because of my addiction, those things went to the wayside. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like, I've always been a good person, you guys, but I let those things go because of my addiction. And the worse my addiction got, the more things that I would do to obtain drugs that I needed to do, you know? So let me see. That's hardcore. I'm so glad you found something. I admit that I thought it was just trading addictions as well. That's okay, Nancy. I totally understand. I understand, and I thought the same thing. But now that I've been educated about the disease of addiction and how it works in the brain and how medication-assisted treatment, listen, if you can get sober without maintenance, do it. But if you can't and you're struggling and you've tried time and time again, why not try to get on Suboxone or methadone and get sober that way, and then slowly taper off that medicine? Do you understand what I'm saying? Of course, I don't think everybody should go get on Suboxone or methadone. I think that, here's my opinion, okay? My opinion is this. If you are young and you've never tried to get sober, you've never relapsed, you've just been getting high, I would suggest that you try to get sober through abstinence first. And if you do that and you're unsuccessful, then try Suboxone, you know? Now, there are some exceptions to that opinion, though. If you are an IV drug addict and you're shooting fentanyl or heroin and you haven't tried to get sober and you're an IV opiate addict, getting on Suboxone could save your life. It could be the difference between you living and dying. Because so many times I see people who are opiate addicts get sober from opiates, IV opiate addicts, and then relapse and die because their tolerance goes down. What's up?
Where's my phone?
It's in my purse in Daddy's room on the bed. It's so you see what I'm saying? Like that's what this medication was created for opiate addicts. Okay, and it's really beneficial for addicts who are intravenous users, because I see so many people die, you guys. Even if you're not an IV user, fentanyl will kill you through any route of administration. Okay, so if you're an opiate addict and you're struggling with getting sober, maintenance medication is the gold standard. Okay, it's literally what everybody's doing, you know? Did you have those times in your addiction where when you look back, God was trying to tell you something and you just went on about your business? Oh, yeah. I've had plenty of times where, like, I know that it was my higher power that was saving my life. Okay. So, like, there was this one time, this is so scary. I can't believe it. Okay. And that's why I changed. Captain, I see you, girl. Thanks for being here. You've been MIA for like a month. Anyways, even if you're not an IV addict, like heroin addiction, opiate addiction is deadly, you guys. And the reason why I say I stress about, IVing is because I see so many people who IV that die. But it doesn't matter if you're an IV addict or you're just snorting or smoking it. Fentanyl will kill you. And so that's why, I love my friends who are alcoholics and I respect them getting sober through AA. But until you've went the opiate way, and you don't understand what it's like, okay, to be an opiate addict. It's a different ball game, and it's different. It's different. Is it worse or better or anything like that? No, that's not what I'm saying, but it's very, very different. And I just don't want you. I never try to make anybody feel like their addiction is not a serious addiction. That's not what I'm saying. But like, okay, so let me give you an example. I've never drank I've never drank alcohol. No, I've drank myself into oblivion, but I've never needed alcohol the next morning when I woke up. Like I've been a little shaky and stuff, but I've never had delirium tremens, that kind of alcoholism. You know what I'm saying? Like I've never experienced that. I've went through detox in the hospital from alcohol, but I was on so many other drugs that I was on opiates, I was on meth, I was on benzos, that honestly, like the benzos and the opiates were what I was struggling. I was shitting and dying, But like, I think a lot of people don't understand that. Like most opiate addicts relapse. They go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And so that's why I want you guys to understand, like, if somebody's able to get sober through abstinence, like I wish that I could have done that. You know what I mean? If I could have gotten sober through the abstinence route, I would have done it. I promise you, I tried to. But this has been the closest thing that I've been able to do. And it has been amazing for me. Sorry, I keep on hitting that light. It has been amazing for me. And I'll have 5 years sober. 5 years sober in July. I can't even believe it. I can't even believe that I have it. It's amazing. And I feel amazing. I've gotten to a point in my sobriety where I feel good about me. I feel like I'm making better decisions. I feel like I'm being a good person and a good parent. I feel like I'm helping other people. And I've never been able to do that, ever, and so that's why I think people just don't understand. And I try so hard to educate people about Suboxone and methadone. And I know some people have bad experiences, like maybe they have family members that are on the medications that are not, utilizing them, and they're abusing them. But it's so important to look at each person as an individual. Okay? Just because Joe Blow or Jill, was shooting her Suboxone or selling methadone doesn't mean that Nichole here on this channel is doing any of that stuff. You know what I mean? And you can tell by my actions and the way I treat others what I'm about. And so I don't even know why I got on the subject. How did we get here, you guys? How did we get here? I have no idea. Oh yeah, I was telling you guys about how I got on Suboxone. But it was all because my husband had went and got on it first. And me and my husband's addictions were so intertwined that I was going to take his Suboxone. If I didn't get on it and get it prescribed legally, I was just going to take his. And at that time, our son was in foster care because he had gotten taken away from us. And so if I had gotten caught taking his medication illegally, we would have lost our son forever. And so that's why I got on Suboxone, and that's why I stayed on Suboxone. I probably could have gotten off 2 years ago or so. At about 3 years, I started to feel like I could do it. You know what I mean? But I didn't feel confident. I didn't feel like I do today. Like today, I'm down to 1 milligram, and I feel amazing. I feel happy. I don't have any stress. I don't have like, okay, so let me give you an example. My life has gotten to this point where if something happens in my life, like my washer or dryer breaks down, or my husband relapses, or my son hurts himself, I'm not going to go out and get high over that. I have coping skills now, and I didn't have them for a long time. And so, like, I can handle what life throws at me now. And the only reason I can handle those things is because I have people in my life who help me, who support me. I have a sober network of people that I talk to every single day. You might not even know that you're part of my sober network, but if I talk to you on a daily basis and you're getting help from me, then guess what? You're helping me too. So if you're somebody who I'm like coaching and helping with your sobriety, you're helping me too. Like, you might not even know that, but you're part of my inner circle. You know what I mean? You're part of my sober support network. And so that has helped me. And then this channel has helped me. Working the 12 steps with my sponsor, you guys, that has helped me. I still have a sponsor to this day. And I have to have one, because if I don't have one, you guys, my butt starts doing crazy stuff that I don't need to do, and after this whole quarantine, after all this stuff goes away and we start being able to do in-person meetings again here in Arkansas, I'm starting a Mara in real life. It's going down, y'all. So let me tell y'all. Let me see what y'all are saying first. I see y'all all commenting, Nikki. Nikki, you're taking away my attention, girl. What you got going on over here? I'm just playing. I'm just playing. Let me see. Thank God I don't feel that way at all anymore. I love every single day I wake up. Me too. I'm happy too. I mean, not every day is the best, but you know what I'm saying. I only have 9 months, but subs are saving my life. Barb, 9 months is amazing. Don't say only. That is a lot of time. Listen to me, you guys. 1 day is a lot of time for a drug addict, okay? 1 day is a lot. Okay, so let me tell y'all what we got going on in real life here in Arkansas. As soon as the quarantine is over. I see you, LT. I'm so glad LT's back with us, you guys. I'm fixing to embarrass you a little bit, LT. LT had been away from the Real Talk Recovery family because he had gotten sucked in to this snake's lair. See, there's this little snake that slithers around YouTube. I'm not going to say the person's name, but this little snake, he'll wrap his little snake body around you and he'll just squeeze the life out of you. And see, I'm the kind of person, you guys, like, when I get my feelings hurt, I don't say anything. I just stop. I just kind of go and do my own thing, And so, I really got my feelings hurt. It wasn't necessarily LT's fault, but it was the snake that he was hanging out with that was influencing his behavior. I think that's what I truly believe was happening, because y'all know my heart. Everybody here knows my heart, and I know y'all know LT's heart. And we're both good people who just want to help. That's all we want to do is help other people. I knew from the day that I met LT that he wanted to help other people, because you can feel that genuine connection with him, and you can feel that in somebody's heart, in the way they talk, I know y'all know what I'm talking about, the connection. And then some people just don't have that. They don't have it because their hearts aren't in the right place, because their egos are so inflated that they think that the literal world revolves around them. This is a family here, okay? You don't have to just watch my channel. There's so many other recovering people on YouTube who have channels, and I've always been a huge advocate for sharing the wealth, like shouting out smaller channels. You know what I'm saying? Sharing other people's channels. And what I have learned is that there's people that are not like that, you guys. And it's literally a competition for them. Well, it's not like that over here. I want you guys to have as much sober support as you can. And if that means having, his recovering addict in the comment section, Fade Factor, recovering addict. If that means, there's other channels that you can go to that you can find support on. You know what I'm saying? It's not a competition. So anyway, I think it's really important, like, for people to understand that, like, part of being in recovery is like helping each other and being kind to each other and lifting each other up. And another part of recovery is when we see our brothers and sisters in recovery struggling, or we see them doing something that could be hurtful to themselves and others, and we see that and we don't talk to them about that, that's part of being in recovery. Is, I know some of us don't like confrontation, but we need to help each other. Okay, so let me give you an example. Let's say for the last week I was on my channel and I was just gossiping about everybody, talking about so-and-so on this channel, talking about so-and-so on that channel, putting people down in my comments and just calling people bitches and all kinds of stuff. And you guys were here watching the channel and hearing me do that, and you didn't say something to me like, hey, Nichole, I thought that you were, or hey, Nichole, I see that you have been upset this last week, and you've been really mad at so-and-so, so-and-so, and so-and-so, and you've been gossiping and calling them bitches. And, I'm concerned, one, because I know that your sobriety could be at risk because of the way you're treating others. You know what I mean? And yeah, exactly. You're going to reel my ass in. You're going to go, what is going on? Like, better than to, like, be putting that out on your channel. Negativity only breeds negativity. And that's the thing, like, every now and then I will get caught in a little bit of a jam because somebody will hurt me. But you're not going to ever catch me on here just making video after video after video after video talking shit about somebody. Every single time. Anytime I have a problem with somebody, I will go straight to that person's face. I will go to them. I will call them. I will text them. I will email them. I will DM them, right? And then if they say something that I don't like and it doesn't work out, that's it. I cut them off. Nothing more. Ain't got to say nothing else. That's just how it should. You don't need to keep on going on and on and on. It's like, what is that going to accomplish? Just beating somebody when they're down. You know what I mean? Anyway, I don't know where I got on this. I've been going on tangents tonight. Anyway, glad to see LT back in the chat. Help me, God. I learned a year and a half ago not to get into altercations with other creators. At least not putting it on my channel, because listen, you guys, when you give somebody that, When you say their name on your channel, you're giving them free promotion. Whether it's negative or positive, people are going to go over to their channel and check their channel out. So the best thing to do when somebody hurts you, don't say anything about it on your channel. Just keep it moving. You know what I mean? And I don't want, I'm not going to give like so-and-so free promotion. Forget that. But I learned that the hard way, because guess what happened? I got really close with a bunch of creators in the recovery community about a year and a half, 2 years ago, right? Hey, Colleen. And guess what happened? I ended up getting in arguments with these people, and we had a falling out. And you know me, I was new, and so I put them on blast. And all that did was make me look like, first of all, it made me look like somebody who couldn't handle disagreement. You know what I mean? Which is not true. Like, I can handle it, and I was flying off the handle because I was hurt. But, I will never make that mistake again, and I'm so glad. I don't really have to worry about anything like that now because we have our own community here. That's what's so amazing about the whole Real Talk Recovery family, is that we have literally built this channel, you guys, from 0 to 5,000, and this is a huge community of people who support and love each other. Now, let me tell you something. If the leader of the community is somebody who is positive, uplifting, loving, kind, non-judgmental, tolerant, open-minded, honest, then guess what their community is going to be? Their community is going to be all those things. So in order for me to make this community what it is, I have to set that example, right? Because if I'm acting like a crazy woman, cussing everybody out and making exposure videos about every Tom, Dick, and Harry, then guess what? I'm going to have a big group of drama queens following my channel, And so we have really, really come through. We have grown so much together on this channel. We really have. Because we were a hot mess at the beginning. But like I said, I was just learning, you guys. I was just getting started. And now y'all, I have a freaking person that I can consult with. My publicist, Captain Napton. My best friend, Cindy. Public relations is Captain Napton. Whenever I want to go off on somebody or I want to make a video because I'm pissed, I call Captain Napton and I say, what do you think I should do? She tells me not to make the video, so I say, okay, and then she makes a video. I love you guys so much. It really, seriously though, you guys, like, I want everyone to know that they can come here and be safe here, and I've gotten my feelings hurt before. I've had disagreements with people, but there's nothing. I will never, ever not help you if you're struggling with your addiction. I always want you guys to know that you can come to me and talk to me about anything. You can trust me. You can know that you're going to be in good hands, It doesn't matter what we've had disagreements on. When it comes to sobriety and it comes to your life, I want you to live. I don't want you to die. I truly, truly care about whether you stay sober or not. When I hear about those of you guys that have come, back after relapses, when are you going to drop a cooking video? Prison edition, Lone Soldier. I've seen you comment that a couple times. What you want me to cook, honey? Prison edition. What you want me to cook? Hey, Patty. No, baby. No, our guest couldn't make it tonight. Misty, I am too, girl. Me and Dr. B, we have really just come through. We have come full circle with this whole channel and his practice and everything. Like, I just love working with him. Prison burrito. Okay. Okay, a spread. Lone Soldier, if I do that, a lot of people are going to give me shit because I talk shit about people who do those damn videos. But I'll tell you what we used to cook when I was locked up. Okay, so we had a microwave in the unit I was in. And Sam, I had to get on my phone, remember? My laptop wasn't working. It was cutting out. And so I had to get on my phone, and that's why I couldn't have a guest up, because on my phone I can't have a guest. Or else we would have had one. A woman's perspective, well, I'll tell you. It's just a burrito with ramen noodles, nacho cheese, okay? They had chili in there. You think so? Okay, I'll try it out. For your sake, I'll do it. I'll tag it and it'll say Lone Soldier wanted me to make this. Oh, you're okay, honey. I was just letting you know that's why, because I had to get on from my phone. If I had my computer started up, we would have had it. A bunch of people could have came on and just talked. But it's okay. We'll have tomorrow night, you guys, tomorrow night, Splinter's coming on. Who knows who Splinter is? Prison POV. Just so you guys know, Splinter, Chris, is one of my very good friends. Like, I talk to him almost every day. And he's going to come on and update us on how he's doing in his recovery, how his channel's going. He's about to hit 9,000 subscribers, y'all. I used to. Why? Can you see it? Or are you talking about this little tooth? Do you see this little tooth right here? It sticks up farther because it's crooked. It goes back. And so it can look like a piercing sometimes. Okay, Nap. See you later, baby. Love you. Oh, yeah. Jessica, I just talked to Fred today on the phone. I called him to check on him because he just made a Patreon. He came on my channel, too. I have a video with him on here. If you go to my playlist where it says interviews, you'll find Fred's interview here. We had so much fun chopping it up, too, because we have our personalities are a lot alike. And so we sat here, we talked, and we was laughing. It was a good video, y'all. I get along with a lot of the guys in the prison community. There's only a couple of people I don't get along with here on YouTube. Hey, Richard, where have you been, fool? I am so glad to see you here. Cooking videos are tough to make, or maybe just all are hard to make for me. Sam, you're doing great. You guys, I'm going to have to binge watch your videos. Jessica, I'm telling you, girl, I have so many good videos on this channel. Like over 1,000 videos. And I'm telling you what, all my interviews are great. Me, my hair? Are you talking about my hair? I need somebody to do my hair. This girl, her name is, oh my God, what's her name? Not Amber. Aubrey. It's right down the street. There's this haircutting place right down the street, and she does my highlights. And but I have to stop getting them, you guys, because look, my hair's very healthy except for these damn highlights. They get my hair, I've gotten them done too much, so they're starting to make my hair frizzy, so I got to stop doing it. Because my hair is super healthy and I want it to stay that way. I might go back dark. I mean, my hair's already dark, but I've had this like balayage in it. You know what I mean? Okay. Thanks for the compliment, though. I appreciate that. Yeah, I have topics for everything. I've just been missing you, Richard. I'm glad you're okay. Jessica, you can listen to me while you sleep tonight, girl. Aubrey, aren't you in Australia, though? No, Richard is been with me since my channel started. He was one of my original people. He was in my first ever Hangouts chat. Look at these nails. Do you see these nails? These are my real nails. What do y'all think? Okay, so what else y'all want to talk about? We're talking tonight. We're having a chit chat. We're hanging out. We'll stay on alive until LT goes live at 10 or 9 or whatever time it is. Oh, look who it is. It's Fred. We was just talking about you, Fred. We was just talking about you. Who are you worried about, Lisa? Hold on, let me go see. Let me see. Amazing. Hitman. No, I'll have to go on his Instagram and send him a message. Hopefully he's okay. Y'all know he had relapsed like a week or so ago on banging meth, which it always makes me sad whenever I hear about that, because methamphetamine is just like such a devil of a drug. Have any of you guys ever done it before? Let me share with you guys about it, okay? Yes, girl, yes. Listen to me, Jessica. I have worked so hard to get these nails to grow out, and I have been taking vitamin supplements and everything. It's not, well, it's kind of like Adderall, but Adderall is just a watered down version of methamphetamine. So the first time I ever snorted meth was, oh gosh, I was like 17 or 18 years old, you guys. And I was hanging out with the wrong crowd. And I remember it made me feel like I had so much energy. And that's one of the things that I've always struggled with is like, lack of energy and lack of motivation. So whenever I did it, it gave me all this energy, right? So I was like, yes, yes. Well, then I got hooked to it. It made me lose weight. It kept me skinny. It gave me energy. But you know what else it does? It makes your teeth rot. It makes you pick your face. One time I shot meth, and I thought that there were these worms coming out of my legs. And so I sat in my apartment for hours with my legs and just picking things out of them, trying to squeeze these worms out of my legs. Well, there was no worms in my legs, y'all. I was hallucinating, okay? Oh, God, Misty! It does. It does. When me and my husband were on it, you guys, we would shoot it, and then we would watch porn and be like jackrabbits, you know? But now we're sober, and we have to, I was just telling somebody else about this the other day. So how many of you guys are sober, and how many of you guys were scared to have sober sex? I was so scared. I thought I'm going to get in here and I'm not going to know how to do it, or I'm going to get in here and my husband is not going to be attracted to me anymore. I think that was one of the most things that I was scared about, was that he wasn't going to want me. You know what I mean? I don't know how many of you guys feel like that, but I know us ladies, we get really, really insecure and we get unsure and we think, well, they're not going to want us anymore. They're not going to love us anymore, you know? And so, Aubrey, when me and my husband got sober, I was scared. I was scared. And honestly, you guys, that was probably one of the last things on my mind, was doing it. But eventually, you know, we sat down and we talked about it, and he told me he loved me, and no matter what. I lost weight the right way when I was in active addiction via portion control, because just drugs alone would make my weight fluctuate like crazy. I think we all just thought we were great at sex because we were high. I know, right? Oh my God. No, I was great. I was a straight up, y'all, let me tell y'all a story, okay? Let me tell y'all about how I met my husband and how he fell in love with me. So let me give you a backstory. So I was living with my friend Kaylee and her boyfriend Hunter and their little girl, okay? Or her little girl. And I was sleeping on their couch. And I was working at Kroger on Beechwood, okay? And so I had been working for Kroger for like years, you guys. I had been promoted. I made good money at Kroger. Well, I was working there, and I had just got done selling my car for $3,000. I took $2,000 and gave it to my parents, and took $1,000 of it and spent it on Roxy's and Xanaxes. I will never forget it, because me and my friend Alisha, we had so many pills. We had Roxy's for days. Well, I was living with Kaylee and Hunter, and one night we were having a party, right? And we were shooting meth. Well, that night my husband came over with this guy Casey. And this guy Casey and me we used to hook up. We used to we used to hook up with each other. Be fuck buddies. Well, Casey brought Neil with him, and that's when I met Neil. And he sat down, and I looked at him, and he looked at me, and we were just like smitten with each other. Well, that's when I decided that I was going to make him mine. Well, that night we went out and we stayed at a hotel, and me and Neil stayed up all night long talking. Well, the next day he dropped me back off at Kaylee's house, and he didn't call me for 2 days, I think. And then he called me on a Thursday. And when he called me that Thursday, I remember being like, "What took you so long to call me?" And he was like kind of shy. And I was like, "Well, let's come and get me." And he was like, "Do you want to go get another hotel?" I was like, "Hell no, we ain't getting a hotel. What kind of woman do you think I am? You're going to take me out on a date." And so he took me out on a date, and that's all it took is one date. We went back to the house, and he stayed the night with me. And you guys, I'm telling you, I was such a little freak. We had one of those stripper poles in the living room of my friend's house, and I was literally in bra and panties, swinging on this stripper pole for him, seducing him like. And that's how he fell in love with me. And listen, you guys, back then I was very tiny because I was, shooting drugs. But I've always had like a good, like muscular body. Like I've always had like good strong legs, and I was slanging from that pole, y'all. I was a professional. Hey, Deidra, love you, girl. I mean, I was working it, and my husband fell in love. And back then, my husband was a square, okay, like kind of preppy, real smart, went to college, those kind of guys. And so when I met him, I was like this crazy, like criminal ass, crazy wild girl. And so when I met him, I was just like wilding out, and he was such a good boy. I'm on my phone, Captain. Hold on. Let me go get my computer, guys. I forgot the whole reason why I didn't get on my phone was because of the damn storm, y'all. Okay. We missed you too, Deidra. I'm so glad you're here, girl. Deidra, you got to come on the Patreon chat. We got a good group of people in there now. Okay, hold on. Aw, I love him so much, you guys. He's my best friend. Okay, Jessica, love you, girl. Yeah, that's Mario. That's you guys, Nate's getting a new bed. Okay, let me tell y'all something. Okay. So my son has struggled with sleeping in his own bed. That's like a little toddler bed. And we just got him a brand new bed that we're going to pick up from my mom and dad's house. And he's going to have his own big bed. Like, I'm so excited for him. But if you're a mom, you know how the struggle is. When Nate was little, I always let him sleep with us. Well, now that he's getting bigger, I'm trying to break him from sleeping with us. And so I have his bed in here so that way he can at least be in the room with us. Because he gets scared, you know? Don't judge me. Don't judge me. But yeah, I forgot. The reason why I'm on my phone is because it was storming. So my Wi-Fi was cutting out on the laptop. I love talking with you guys. I'm so glad thank you, Murk. I appreciate you, babe. I'm so glad we are hanging out tonight, y'all. So, you guys give me some ideas of videos y'all want me to make. See, Fred, I knew I wasn't the only one. I knew it. I feel like sometimes I feel so bad because I'm like, well, my husband, okay, let me tell y'all something about my husband. My husband cannot say no to our son. And so I will tell him, babe, no, we have to make him sleep in his own bed. And then Neil will let Nate come sleep in the bed with us. Do y'all see my shirt? Anti-COVID-19 Social Club. Okay, so I need some ideas for YouTube videos. So I need you guys to help me. So come on, give me some ideas. Also, who all has joined my Patreon? And if you joined my Patreon, I need to make an announcement. This Sunday, we are going to have a patron-only live stream, and that's going to happen at 2 p.m. The reason why we're doing it during the day this Sunday is because Sunday at 7, we have a guest speaker. A couple, Brittany and her husband Heath, are going to come on and share their recovery story. So, anyone that's in Patreon, please listen. Sunday at 2, I will go live and I will share the link to our private live stream in our private patron-only chat and in our Patreon. Okay? How your relationship changed during your recovery. Okay. How... It changed a lot, too. I was scared that we weren't going to be together, if you want to know the truth. Okay. Yeah, but the reason, no, I can't do it because I can't get on my laptop because of the storm. So it keeps cutting out. That's why I didn't get on it in the first place, because we had gotten on it and started the live stream, but it was cutting out, which I hate when that happens. Okay, also, if you're in my Patreon, is there anything that you guys want me to do more of? How to tell your family you're on Suboxone. That's a good one. That's a really good one. How to tell and listen to me, okay? For anybody that is newly on maintenance, Erin, it's a good deal. It's only $2, girl. It's $2, and that gives you access to all the videos in my Patreon, and it gives you access to our private patron-only chat. And I'm going to be straight up with you guys. The thing that's most beneficial about Patreon is being in that chat, because there's like 50 people in there, being on mat and working a program. And you know what? You can work the 12 steps of Alcoholics Anonymous on Suboxone. Okay, a lot of people have like a misunderstanding that you can't work the 12 steps and be on Suboxone, because I think there's a lot of people that like say stuff like that, but there's no rule in AA that says severe mental health with addiction. There's no rule in AA that says you can't be on medications that are prescribed by your doctor. So as long as you're prescribed medication from your doctor and you're taking it as prescribed, then you can take the 12 steps of AA. But if you're somebody who is like, well, I don't really jive with the AA or NA 12 steps, I would really, really want to suggest to you guys to try MARA. It's Medication Assisted Recovery Anonymous, and it's more of the fellowship is more about finding that true self, the true voice within you, okay? Your connection. It's not so much about God or a higher power. It's about finding that true voice within you, which you can really look at that from any perspective. You can look at that as in the true voice within you is your higher power, or you can look at it, in a more spiritual way. But it's a very different spin on the 12 steps. It's a lot more open-minded of a fellowship. Like, we accept you no matter what. You are in recovery when you say you're in recovery, and non-judgment is our code. The fellowship of MARA is going to blow up. We're like literally building upon it right now, and the more that we keep on sharing it with other people, the better. Okay, hold on. Severe mental health of addiction. Gary, how do you decide who to make amends to? Oh, I'll tell you how. How do you decide who to make amends to? So first of all, you have to work with your, okay. Now, if you don't work the 12 steps, you guys, and you're just wondering about how to make amends to people, this is what you got to do, okay? First of all, when you're ready to make amends, you have to look at what is going on and find your part in it, okay? So taking responsibility for your part in whatever the situation was is very important when making amends, because a lot of the times when we were in our active addiction, okay, we would get sober for a little bit and then we would just try to go and say sorry, right? That's not how you make amends. You don't get sober and then just go tell people sorry, okay? It's about true change within, taking responsibility, not repeating that same behavior and making it right. That's what an amends is all about. Okay, a lot of people think it's just about going and apologizing. It's really, really more about changing that behavior and taking full responsibility. A lot of the times when you make amends, a lot of times the people that you make amends to are going to see how much you've changed. They're going to see that you're, doing the right thing, that you're taking responsibility, and you're going to come to make amends to them, and they're going to go, it's all good. I'm just so proud of you for being sober. Okay, so when stopped using, how to feel all the time you have now. Okay. These are great. Okay. Feeling free time after stopping using. These are awesome. These are such good topics, you guys. Thank you, Murk. I have no idea how she does it. She even thinks it's not a joke. Hey, that's what I do. Hardest worker I know. Thank you. I really do. Do I need a sponsor? Well, here's the thing. I'll answer that real fast, and I can even make a video about it. Do you have to go out and get a sponsor? I mean, no, you don't have to. But is it good to have someone to stay accountable to? Absolutely. Okay. So I'll use Joe and Karlea as our examples. So Joe and Corrales are both new male members of Real Talk Recovery. Okay? And a lot of fellowships, they'll tell you that you have to stick with the men need to stick with the men, women need to stick with the women, which I absolutely agree to that on. But there's nothing wrong with having like accountability, right? And so I can act as a lot of you guys' accountabilities, right? That's what I try to do, is act as a lot of y'all's accountability. Now, every now and then you'll find somebody like me who's able to separate themselves. Like, I have a husband. I love my husband. I would never disrespect him, and I love you guys, and I want to help you guys, right? And so me and my husband have an understanding. He knows that I check up on you guys, and that there's some of you that I am personally talking to. Like, I called and talked to Joe today. I called and talked to Corrales today to check and see how they're doing. Corrales just got started on his maintenance medication, so I wanted to make sure how his first full day of having his own legal prescription went, because that's a huge accomplishment. Now you don't have to worry about buying it off the streets. Now you don't have to worry about lying to your wife. Now you don't have to worry about hurting your family or lying to people that you work with or getting in trouble or getting arrested or getting caught. Like, these are all things that you're going to avoid now that you're doing things the right way. Here's the thing, you guys. I think a lot of the times we don't do things the right way because we feel shame, or we don't want to admit that we have a problem, or somebody has talked us into it. Like, for example, there's a lot of people who get on maintenance medication. I like you, Nichole. I like the way you're open to any topic and you don't hold back. Hey, Aubrey. Thanks, girl. Depression and early recovery. Depression and early recovery. Sorry. We're having this whole sit down hangout today. Okay. Aubrey is a man. I'm so sorry. I called you a girl, didn't I? Well, I love you, Aubrey, Mr. Aubrey. One day I would like to help explain finance recovery after getting clean. After, like, your finances in recovery, I'll tell you this, okay? When you get sober and you stop spending your money on drugs and alcohol, your life is going to change, okay? When me and my husband got sober, you guys, we had no bank account. Thank you for forgiving me. I am so sorry. I hate when I get people's genders wrong. Because if I can't see your picture and I see that you're a woman or a man, sometimes it just go with how I feel. Like, maybe it's a man, maybe it's a woman. Sorry. Now that I know that, I will never forget, because I'm really, really good with names and stuff. So you'll see. I'm so sorry. Okay, what was I saying? Oh, yeah. Once you get sober and you start, me and my husband, you guys, we had no money, okay? We didn't have a bank account. And we would spend, let me just explain to you guys how destitute we were and how much money we would spend on drugs. Okay, so when my husband had a job, which was not very much because we would always lose our jobs, we'd get fired, we would spend our whole paycheck. We would spend $30 on one oxy. That's how much they cost. So for me to get good and for him to get good, I needed 3 oxys and he needed 3 oxys of the 30 milligram oxys. Okay. And so that's 30, 60, 90. That's $180. Okay. That's $180 for one dose for, that's it. And so we would go through money like no other. And then when we didn't have money from jobs, we would hustle our parents to give us money. If they wouldn't give us money, then I would go out and I would steal stuff. And I would sell it or trade it or pawn it. Or I would go and I would meet these men that I was friends with. And I'm not proud of this, you guys, but I would meet these older men and they would really, really like me. And so I would go and hang out with them and they would give me $100 for coming over and rubbing their feet, or just like weird stuff like that. Now, there was a couple of guys that I would go over to their houses and I would do, stuff that I'm not proud of. But that was before I met my husband. When I met my husband, he was like, oh, hell no. You are not going out and hooking up with guys. He wouldn't let me do that. And I'm glad that he wouldn't let me do it because I was really, really hurting. Like, I had already had such low self-esteem. You know what I mean? What's the most you've spent on drugs? Well, that $1,000 whenever I bought all those oxys when I got all that money from selling my car. And isn't that some shit that I sold my car and used the money for drugs? I made $3,000 selling my car, and I gave my mom and dad $2,000 to pay off my credit card bills, and I kept the rest. I kept $1,000. After 40 years of sobriety, I'm not satisfied with my financial status. I would like to be more productive. However, it has been happy and lovely 40 years. That's a long time, man. Congratulations. We stayed a few nights at the beach last weekend, and Sunday was the first time in a long time my husband actually had a breakdown. It's been 13 years since his last drink and 9 years off drugs for both of us. Oh, so he got to have a break, you mean? Not a breakdown, right? 40 years is such an amazing accomplishment. And listen, so if you're not happy with your financial status right now, that's okay because you have been able to stay sober for 40 years. And that is the most important thing, because without sobriety, you can't do anything. You can't get more money, right? Have you ever been in a cat fight while under the influence? Have I ever been in a fight with a woman while under the influence? Hells yeah. And I got my ass knocked the fuck out. Yes, I have been in a couple of fights with other women, and every time I've ever been in a fight, you guys, I'm not a fighter. I am not a fighter. I always end up getting knocked out. Let me tell you what happened. The one that I can really remember. It wasn't even a fight. I got jumped. So I was at my friend Tara's house, right? And me and my friend Tara had been up smoking crack for like a week. I swear we hadn't slept in 7 days. And so it was about that time that I was crashing. I was crashing and burning. I had been up for too many nights and I needed to get some sleep. So I said, fuck it. I'm going to lay down. And I went in the back bedroom and I laid down. Well, one thing that would always happen to me after being up for like a long period of time is that when I would go to lay down, I wouldn't be able to fall asleep. And when I would try to fall asleep, I would hallucinate. So I was sleeping in the bed or laying in the bed and I was looking out the window and I was hallucinating this person that we were friends with was outside. And so I called Tara in the room and I was like, do you see it? Is that Amy? Is that Amy over there? That's Amy. And she's like, no, Nichole, it's not Amy. And then I was like, are you sure that's not Amy? And she's like, no, Amy's not out there. Well, then, lo and behold, my phone rang, and it was Amy's boyfriend, Anthony. And he was asking me if I knew where Amy was at. Well, I had just talked to Amy that day, and I told him, I think she's at so-and-so's house. I did not know that I wasn't supposed to tell him where she was at. And I don't even think she was at a guy's house. I think she was at a mutual friend of ours. Well, I had told him where she was at, and I guess that pissed her off. Well, I went back to bed, tried to lay back down, and that's when Tara woke me up and said, Amy's outside, like for real. So she wanted to see me outside in the front of the house. So I said, okay, and I get up out of the bed. Now, y'all, I hadn't slept in 7 days. I get out of the bed. I walk outside to Amy. She's standing in front of her truck, and her boyfriend, Anthony, is the driver. And I was like, hey, girl, what's up? I literally walked right up to her. This bitch said, BAP! And knocked me out. I mean, I went boom and hit the ground. I hit the ground right by the front tire of this car, and she jumped in the car with her boyfriend, Anthony, and tried to run me over with this truck. All I can tell you guys is that my fight or flight thing kicked in. I jumped up and I booked it, and I ran inside the house. I ran so fast, there was smoke coming off my shoes. She punched me so hard, it knocked me out. Like I was seeing stars. And I remember thinking, damn, I didn't even get a chance to punch. I didn't even know that she was going to punch me. I had no idea. And I was like, what did I do wrong? And I remember Tara calling me in there and saying she was pissed because I had told Anthony where she was at. And I'm like, how am I supposed to know? So yeah, I've had girls be very disappointed with me, but I've never gotten like beat down, you know? I've gotten knocked out though before. What's the craziest mission impossible I ever did for drugs? Oh, wow. Okay, I'll tell you, so crazy. I've done some stupid stuff. Okay, so I'll tell you a couple of them. One of the things that I would always do, and I ended up getting arrested for this, was I had this lick that I could hit, and it was a good lick. Every time I would hit this lick, I would get like $200 to $400. So I knew that it worked. So I would always do it. There was a Dillard's in town that me and my husband would always go to, and they had all these purses, Dooney and Burke, Coach purses. Like these purses are like $200 and up, right? And so I would walk into the Dillard's, and on Tuesdays when they got their shipment, their truck would come, I would go in there and I would get like 6 purses, and then I would run out the front door, right? Run out with all these purses on my arms. And then I would take the purses and I would sell them to the dope boys, right? To their girlfriends, to their wives, to their friends. And I would make a couple $100 and then get dope, right? This one time I did it, and I had done it every other time and never gotten caught. And I go in there and I put 3 purses on this arm and 3 purses on this arm. But for this one stupid reason, I decided that I was going to go out the side door instead of the front door. So I'm going out the side door, and I hit the door and it doesn't open. And I hit the door again and it's locked. They locked me in. They locked me in the Dillard's because they busted me and I went to jail. Well, they didn't send me to jail. They wrote me a ticket. But I almost went to jail. They wrote me a ticket and I went free. Now, another stupid thing I did was, my husband is like, loves guns, okay? He has so many guns, you guys. He's like a gun connoisseur. And he always had this Glock in his car. Well, we had gotten really high. It was Valentine's Day. And we went to this motel and we were trying to rent a room because we were wanting to get high in the room. And we went to rent the room and the guy refused to rent it to us. So I got pissed. And I went out to my husband's truck and I grabbed that gun and I went back in the hotel and I was like, you're gonna rent the room to us. You're gonna rent the room to us, motherfucker, with this gun, right? This guy, he was like Indian, like from like, overseas, like Dubai or something like that. Middle Eastern. He picks up a gun out from underneath the table at the hotel and he puts it like this and he says, get out or I'm calling the cops. And I booked it. I grabbed my gun, or I had it in my hand. I grabbed the gun and I ran outside to the truck, and Neil got in the car. I took my shirt off, right? And I wrapped it around the license plate and I jumped in the front seat and we skirt out of there. That's a true story. I remember you telling us that story. Yes, Bonnie and Clyde, Erin. I've told you guys all my really crazy stories. So if you're new to my channel and you haven't heard these stories before, I've told every crazy thing I've ever done on this channel. There's so many videos of me telling stories, thousands and thousands of videos on this channel, you guys. I'm telling you, you got to go back and watch all the way back from when I first started my channel and see all the videos. Y'all will die laughing. I'm serious as a heart attack. And I'm not glorifying my addiction. Like, this is shit I did when I was in my active addiction. I'm not proud of it, but I can laugh at it now because I'm not that person anymore. I'm sober and I'm doing the right thing today, you know? So, yeah, I've done some crazy shit. Yeah, I've been on some crazy missions. I mean, I've drove to like places and like one time we got high on meth and we were driving to Jonesboro. I was driving there with my friend Joe, and I had been up and I was driving in my rear view. That's how high I was, that I was driving but looking in the back rear view mirror. It was horrible. But anyways, I'm not going to keep y'all hostage here anymore. I really just enjoyed chit-chatting with you guys and hanging out and talking to you. Every now and then I like to have one of these videos where we just sit and talk. I've got all of you guys' ideas written down. Okay. Aubrey, every day I go live at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. So that's a yes. That is a yes. Usually it's only Monday through Friday, but this week is recovery week here on my channel. So every night this week I'm having a guest. So tomorrow is Splinter from Prison POV, and then Sunday is Keith and Brittany. So yeah, every night, 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. We would love to have you here with us, Aubrey. And thank you so much for everybody that has come to the channel and subscribed. Tomorrow is Splinter from Prison POV. His real name is Chris. Thank you to everybody that has come and subscribed to my channel, you guys. Like, it really, really does mean so much to me. It really, really does. And if you haven't already and you want to, join Patreon. Join Patreon. It's only $2 a month. And if you don't want to, I understand. But if you do, and then I'll see you guys tomorrow night with Chris. And on Sunday, it's, like I said, the couple, Heath and Brittany. So that's going to be so cool. I've never had a couple on before. So I love you guys. Sorry, my leg keeps cramping up while I'm sitting like that. But I love you guys. And you guys mean everything to me. So thank you so, so much for all of your support and your love. It means the world to me. And for those of you guys that have been working out with me, I know we didn't work out this weekend. I was really slacking, but Monday we are going to start working out. And then Tuesday I go to my personal training with JD. So I'm going to have a lot of new workout stuff to teach y'all when I get back. Okay. Love y'all. Good night. Oh, go over to LT's channel. He goes live at like 9 o'clock, y'all. All right. Bye.